Hello and welcome to Everywhere We Go. This is a podcast produced by England's Barmy Army, by the fans, for the fans. Now, we're going to tell you everything about what the Barmy Army is about. We're also going to tell you about a cracking moment in Cape Town that will live long in the memory. It's all to come on this very first brand new episode of Everywhere We Go. Hello and welcome to the new branded Barmy Army podcast, Everywhere We Go. Now, we used to be called the Shackles Are Off podcast, and many of you would have spent many hours listening to some brilliant guests and some, well, not so brilliant conversation from myself, James Gregg, and Chris Millard from the Barmy Army. In a Big Ashes year, we thought we would come back with a podcast that is going to encapsulate everything that is to come this winter down under in Australia. We cannot wait for the winter, but obviously all the build-up, building that excitement as well. This is a podcast by the fans, for the fans, and it talks about everything that you can expect if you're travelling to Australia, if you're watching at home, or if you're going to a cricket ground near you this summer as well. Chris, great to be back with a microphone in front of us as well. We've got a new studio. That's rather nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know. It beats the heady days of Zoom during COVID and trying to pester England cricketers to come and talk to us. It's all looking rather fancy. Just talk to us about the Barmy Army and this summer that comes, because there is so much to build up to before you actually even head to Australia.
There is. It's a pleasure to be back with you, sat with a microphone in front of our faces. We've been talking about it for a while, haven't we? And it's nice to actually be here and doing something for the fans. So yeah, we've been on a roller coaster ride probably since the last podcast. A lot's changed, a lot's new. We're actually currently in our office. Can you believe? This is a back room in our office that we had a little bit of a space in the new office, and we thought, you know what? Let's bring back the podcast.
Why didn't we carry on our podcast? Because the guest list is unbelievable, isn't it? Like, we had so much fun talking to, we started off, the Shackles Are Off, us basically saying we should do a cricket podcast. This was before every man and his dog had a cricket podcast.
2017.
2017, is that the first episode? Was it? So we sort of built our way through, didn't we? We started off with people like Luke Fletcher, who's obviously familiar to, county cricket fans.
City.
Ryan Sidebottom.
I think he was first, actually.
He might have been one of our first, actually. And then people like James Foster with great tales to tell. And then the next thing, we're talking to Jimmy Anderson, Sir Alistair Cook.
Alan Donald.
Some unbelievable guests. We had a good chat with Jimmy Neesham as well, Kiwi cricketer. Yeah. Obviously, Rooty's been on a couple of times.
Adam Gilchrist.
Actually, if you think about it, that was pretty special. Yeah. Why did we stop? I can't really think why we did stop doing those podcasts.
I think it became very crowded, didn't it? Yeah. I think a lot of people saw the good stuff we were doing and thought, we'll have a bit of that. So now we really stopped because Greggy got all famous and went all golf commentator and now a presenter at 5 Live, aren't you? You became a bit too big for us, and we thought we'd bring you back to the humble roots, get you back in South Yorkshire to do a little fan podcast again.
You know what? That is complete nonsense, but we'll roll with it, and we'll we're just going to keep going with the podcast because I'm really excited. This is a podcast for the fans. We're not talking about... We're not analysts, are we? You play cricket, I don't. I'm purely a fan. I absolutely love it. I don't work in cricket. I like to keep it separate because if, as a presenter, broadcaster, whatever it is, if you're doing a certain sport all the time and you're living and breathing it and you get to know the nooks and crannies of it all and the bits that people don't like to see, it kind of ruins it a little bit for you. Whereas cricket for me is still so enjoyable and so awesome to watch. And actually, England versus India, first test has just been happening as we record this. Absolutely fantastic. So atmospheric, Headingley as well. Brings back memories of Stokes, obviously, 5 or 6 years ago. How are we involved in that England-India series, by the way, at the Barmy Army? I say we. I say, how are you involved? Because you're actually...
We are. You are part of the Barmy Army.
Thanks,
come on, you've been around long enough now. We've got lots going on. We've got events happening all summer. We've got Barmy Bingos, which are epic. You've presented one for us. They're Bongo's bingo takes on cricket, essentially. So we've got one going on in Manchester in a couple of weeks, the test match, and then we've got one up in Leeds as well, and then one in Birmingham, of course, where we are very strong. That's actually on Friday next week.
Okay.
So that goes out on Friday next week. But we're excited. It's a massive series, isn't it? You've got an incredible India side and a very strong, very entertaining England side. So it's the first test as we speak. It's day 5. We don't really know what's going to happen yet, but it's on a knife edge. And that's thanks to some great cricket on every day so far and sold out stadiums. It's just great to see test cricket back on the back pages of the papers. People are talking about it. It's just great for the game.
So good, isn't it? And I think the thing is, and you won't mind me saying this, is that there is so much cricket now. So I struggle a little bit with it. And I'm sure there's people listening and people watching who struggle with the fact that there is, Caribbean Premier League, South African T20 franchise cricket, then obviously the IPL, then the 100, then the Blast. You've got white ball all over the place. Not that much test cricket. And I did wonder, actually, if all of the amount of white ball stuff that we've got going on would dilute the thirst to watch cricket. And I don't think it has. Genuinely, when we first discussed redoing this podcast, I was going, well, do people, are people a bit sick of cricket? There's so much of it. Do they need me and you, who aren't ex-pros, coming in and talking about the game again and what surrounds it? But actually, I think because you've got all the white ball stuff going on and then the test cricket arrives, it's almost like on its own stratosphere, isn't it? And what do you think? Because you're far more involved in it and you obviously have to plan things around it. Do you get a sense from members of the Barmy Army and people who are buying tickets that England, India, and obviously the Ashes series and general test matches last summer against the West Indies, etc., people want that more than they want all the rest of it?
Yeah, and something that's always intrigued me is the hype around Test cricket, around it being 4 days, or should we change it, or is there too much, or is it going to last? I don't buy that because Test match tickets in the UK average between £80 and £250 for a general admission ticket, a seat, nothing else. What other sport are you paying that price to watch a day's play when there's 5 days of that exact game? I just don't buy it, especially in the UK. In the UK and Australia. In India, okay, the IPL's much bigger than Test cricket in India. However, the best players are still wanting to play the format. And you've just had South Africa beat Australia for the World Test Championship, who are massive underdogs, great for the game. Again, I had loads of people asking for tickets, sold out at Lord's. England weren't playing, and it was a World Test Championship. So I just don't buy the rhetoric that Test cricket is going anywhere at all. I think as long as they get the Future Tour programme right, which is massive from 27 onwards, that will hopefully incentivise people to get back behind the Test game in the smaller nations like Sri Lanka, like West Indies. It's really, really important how they go about this, because you want to make sure that India, England, Australia are all playing against West Indies, Sri Lanka, South Africa, because that's how we keep the game growing. That's how we keep people excited by Test cricket.
And look, I should say that since we started doing the podcast initially, the shackles are off, as was, it was, you were kind enough to invite me on a couple of tours. So I've been to Sri Lanka, that unbelievable South Africa series where there was that famous test win in Cape Town. There is nothing that beats that for me in terms of the excitement of that final hour at Cape Town, England needing a couple of wickets and, basically the lot going up under the shadow of Table Mountain.
There was a debate, wasn't there, around 5-day tests?
Yeah.
And that game finished at 5:30 on day 5.
It's like... Exactly, just completely nipped that one in the bud. Obviously, then that same argument comes around
5 years later.
Yeah, exactly. Of course it does. Yeah. But I remember that was funny. That was one of the first times that we had a couple of lads there who were doing the media stuff, weren't we? Social media stuff. And we got a couple of press passes, which was, we didn't really use and abuse that in the way that we could have done, to be fair, because it was great being... If you can't enjoy the sun looking on that backdrop at Cape Town, you want to be sat with all the journos, I think you've probably got your priorities wrong. But that was, for me, the best experience, because it was... the talk, the noise, you felt the noise, didn't you? All that stuff that was being written about, should it go to 4 days? And then you get yourself into that situation, like you say, 5:30 on day 5, and all the England players walking over and applauding the Barmy Army was absolutely
The atmosphere
magical.
was a joke, wasn't it?
So good.
It was continuous singing for probably 45 minutes in that
Yeah.
last session to take a wicket. As soon as they took the wicket, they celebrated like a football player to an away end.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, that's actual impact of having a 12th man at cricket, having a Barmy Army that makes such an impact on the field. The players talk about it openly, like I said. Without the Barmy Army there that day, they might not have won that test match.
Yeah.
And everyone who's part of the Barmy Army should take great pride in like being part of that, a moment in history, a magical moment. So yeah, it was very special.
So there's people who will be listening to this for the first time who've never come across the Barmy Army before. There'll be people seeing clips on social media going, what's the Barmy Army? What's all this about? Why have they got a podcast studio? Why have they got branded tops on? I don't yet. I need to have a word with you about that. But what is it? Talk to people, what is the Barmy Army? Because it's actually something that a lot of people don't know that is actually there. So what is it?
It's a great question. As you can imagine, I've been asked it rather a lot.
Yeah.
But ultimately, at the absolute core, the Barmy Army is a community of cricket fans that are members of an organisation, that go on tour, that go to events, that sing songs, some that don't sing songs. But ultimately, it's a community of like-minded cricket fans that want to help support the England team.
Yeah. That's it. I say that's it. It's pretty cool.
Then the business is behind that. So you've got the community, which is the people.
Yeah.
And then the business behind that optimizes the brand, and what we do is all about travel, taking people all over the world, making sure people can travel there safely in a group, organise everything, tickets, events, and so on and so forth.
Because you've got chaos, but you need somebody to organise the chaos, right?
Correct, yeah. And it's that there is chaos, there's calm as well amongst the chaos. And to be able to create something that is now 55,000 members, 2 million social media followers, you need a team. Like we sit here in the office today, and in there, you've just walked through it. There's 18 people working in there, working on the next tour, working on the Ashes, working on the India series, working on South Africa. So it doesn't all happen by accident. It never happens overnight. And without the business behind the brand and the community, it probably wouldn't be as powerful and as big as it is today. So it's, I guess, thanks to the founders back in the day, and we've taken it on to new and different heights ever since.
We're going to definitely talk about the origins of the Barmy Army, because I absolutely love it.
I was keen not to go into too much detail then, knowing what's coming in the series.
100%. If you are listening to this and you're thinking these guys are just going to witter on all day, no, there's some serious, unbelievable stuff coming out. You can probably tell, look on my face, how how excited I am to see some of the stuff that we've got to come. We've also got some new kit. I absolutely love this new Admiral stash. It's like a throwback, like proper throwback.
05 retro range.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
That is like fully, like, Flintoff vibes, that, isn't it?
We've got the test kit, we've got the ODI kit, we've got some really cool releases. Remember the warm-up tracksuits, like the fleeces?
Brilliant.
Watch the Space. There's one of those coming out later in the year. So yeah, we've tried to bring back the whole 2005 retro range with Admiral, who are partnered with ProDirect. So the team at ProDirect we've worked with for a very long time now, and they've been very good. And we've decided to go into a collaboration and bring back a bit of 2005 nostalgia.
Brilliant. That's so good. That is going to be very popular. There's going to be a lot of people wearing that in Australia, I'm pretty sure. We're also going to talk about the Ashes as well, aren't we? At some point, we're going to talk all about what the plans are, because there'll be people who are listening to this wondering, well, look, I'm going to Australia and it'll be my first tour. What can I expect? What does the Barmy Army entail for me down under? All the rest of it. It probably involves an Admiral shirt, but loads of other stuff as well. So that's great. And we're going to obviously have lots of special guests on the podcast as well. Can't wait for that. Good to be back. We've been quite sensible there, haven't we, on that first episode?
Yeah. Warming back up, aren't we?
Yeah. So look, we are relaunching the podcast. I will at some point say, welcome back to the Shackles Rock podcast, but it is no more. It is the Everywhere We Go podcast. So appropriate in an Ashes summer, an Ashes year, I should say, but in the summer building up to an Ashes winter. Can't wait for it. It's by the fans. I am a fan, for the fans. Any questions that you've got, anything at all, any thoughts. We'll obviously do our best to kind of talk a little bit about cricket as well. There'll be some dodgy opinions. Can promise you some dodgy opinions. So get in touch with us on info@barmyarmy.com.
Yeah. Social media as well. The
Social
channels
media.
are monitored daily, so feel free to reach out.
Well, that team you were talking about, is that what they're doing?
Yeah, hope so.
All right.
They'll probably be in the just in the coffee area now, won't they? Chilling out, watching the test match probably.
Well, that's where we're going to go. This was episode 1 of the Everywhere We Go podcast, and we look forward to speaking to you quite a lot over the course of the summer.